Hey, it's me, Ivan Hunt, host of the Keep It Moving Talk Radio Show. This is the post wrap-up show from a while ago. My guest today is Niki Rubin. She's got the hot single out, Plead for Love. You should check it out. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on iTunes, I believe, also, correct? SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a hot jam. I like it. The video's out, too. I think you'll like it, too. So without further ado, Niki Rubin, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Very well. Very well. Thank you. Thank you. So the last time we spoke, you were just really, the song was just starting to kind of gain traction. So how's it doing now?
It's going so well. It's going so well. I'm so grateful. I think that's like the best word. I have so much gratitude. People are really into it. It's getting a lot of good notoriety, and from all different types of people, all different ages, and people all over the world. And that's what when I create music, I really want it to be a classic. So that's really what I think about. So it's nice to know that so many different types of people are into it, and different shows having me on as a guest, and I'm just going to list a couple of them off so I can hit as much as I can off what I remembered. I wrote it down today so I wouldn't forget. The Fortress radio show, Breakthrough radio show, Soul of the Streets radio show, Under the Influence radio show, Chip Baker's The Success Chronicles on YouTube. And that's what I just remembered from the top of my head today. But maybe like Make My Way Radio. There might be some other ones like Pause Radio and different online, but also FMs, so that's good. It's starting to gain that kind of traction. There's a radio show out in Milwaukee called The Forum, and the host of it, Sherwin Hughes, is a big fan of mine now too, because of the work and the song, and so his is an FM station out there too. So he's actually trying to pull me in on that too, because I'm not going through a label. So
right.
I'm like, yeah, let's get me in,
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure the next time you plug radio station that you plug me too.
And of course your show, but I'm on your show. I'm doing the whole catch up. So that's why I did, but I always plug you. And this is the thing, I plug everybody that I've been a part of. Remember, I even said like the beginning of it started with for Plead for Love. It started with what was it? Oh man, I can't remember right now the name of it. I'm gonna remember before this is over. Okay. But it's been a lot of good stuff going on. Also, the same people who do the Soul of the Streets radio show are putting on an event. It's a R&B concert series called the Soul Series.
Okay.
And I will be doing a couple of my original songs, performing a couple of my original songs live. For Love, so that'll be cool. And that's May 12th in New York City at the Sugar Bar.
Okay.
So people can get, they can reserve seats, and then it's like, I think $15 to get in. So they're not selling tickets or anything like that in advance, but.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun. And then my producer of that song actually, and who also serves as like my manager, road model, he just told me about an event he needs me to go to as well, which is going to be May 5th. And that's going to be East River in Harlem. I don't have all the details yet, but I think the best thing for people to do is to follow me on my social media.
And how can they do that?
Instagram is Niki Rubin, NIKIRUBIN, and my Facebook is Niki Rubin Music. SoundCloud is Niki Rubin, but yeah, I think like Instagram and Facebook are the best places, and I have a Twitter, but I'm not like as good with that one.
Me either. I tried Twitter. I think I've tried it 3 times and I've quit every single time. I still can't figure it out. I really
understand that one that well, but like Instagram and Facebook are the best way, and I really try to keep everything current and as up to date, of course, because that's how people are going to know what's happening from day to day. So and they're so easy, those platforms, to do that with. I love like how Instagram, it's like everything's set up like that for you too. So it's just all right there, you know?
So tell me something. Where do you see yourself right now in say 6 months to a year?
6 months to a year. Definitely. Well, you know, what I'm really trying to do right now is build an album. So I have songs that I've been completely building my own tracks for that I hope to have completed obviously within the next 6 months.
Okay.
Which are beautiful. And I'm like so excited to share those, but I don't want to share any piece of them with anyone until they're exactly how I want them to be, because especially since I'm doing it myself, it's a lot. I mean, maybe more pressure on myself than anything, but I want to make sure those are really like perfect before I put them out. And then more songs with my producer and stuff too, and that with A Plead for Love and some of the other songs that I have ready to go already. And hopefully, you know, more performances. I'm like really in this vibe, this energy. And I don't know if it's because it just became, I mean, I love to perform, but I think to just, one of my favorite things to do is to perform, especially my own music. So I'm like really, really hoping to get much more of that on the plate, including out of town stuff. So within a year, I'm hoping to be able to be traveling for performances, you know? I mean, listen, my visions for myself are arenas. That's where I want to be. I want to be performing my music in arenas from all over the world, you know, these types of huge settings. And so that's really the goal, one of the goals. So anything I could do to be working towards that is where I hope to be within the next 6 months to a year. I mean, who knows? Things can move fast, you know, so.
Yeah. And it's good because, you know, if you don't have big goals or big dreams, then, you know, you're going to fall short of yourself. You start cheating and robbing.
Right.
Yourself.
That's the biggest thing too, is you can't be afraid of those big dreams.
Right.
I think that's where a lot of people have the issues with that is, you know, all those things that can come into your brain or other outside chatter, you know, can end up influencing that in a negative way. And I think the biggest thing is like, yeah, my biggest goals are to make a worldwide impact in a positive way with my music. And the way to do that is to be doing these types of huge performances, but that's also tells you where you're at then too. It's like, that's that kind of impact you want. So for me, that's what it is. And if I don't have those big visions, then what do I have to not even be consciously always working, you know, realize what I'm doing, but subconsciously, what do I have to be working towards? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so that leads to another question then. You know, obviously it sounds like you believe in law of attraction. Is that a fair statement? Okay.
Totally.
So what kind of vibe that you want your music to kind of, you know, represent for you?
You know, it's actually like, I mean, overall is a positive vibe. Overall, it's a positive vibe, no matter what. So like, even if I'm angry or sad or whatever emotions I'm feeling, it's not going to come out in a negative sense. It's going to always have this kind of positive undertone to it, in the sense of, for example, like one of the songs that I wrote is called Sick and Tired. And it's basically about, you know, when we're sick and tired of putting up with people's treatment of us if it's negative. But it's not like you're an a-hole and like saying all these terrible things. It's more like, I'm sick and tired of this. And now I'm going to, you know, I deserve respect and I'm going to do what I have to do and I'm going to walk away, basically. You know, it's kind of like a little story, but it's basically, that song for me is about a few things, you know, empowering people to be able to say enough is enough and move on. Strength, you know, that we should all be given a certain type of respect and unconditional love. So there's the positive undertone to it, and then it's the positive message. So yeah, maybe the person who might have been the one who was disrespecting somebody, they might be like, oh, this song, whatever, but it's not for them. And actually it is for them in a sense, because that's the thing too, is the message is behind. So it's also about the messaging, which ultimately is positive, because the messaging in that song, for example, is, you know, please wake up and realize how you're treating somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think, so that's really the intention, is always to have have a positive message as an undertone for no matter who's hearing it. And so a lot of my music to me is also about like waking up people's, you know, realizations and perspectives and kind of helping maybe people to see things differently or question things differently or question themselves or others and different things, which is a healthy thing to do, you know, so.
What would you advise somebody as far as self-reflection or, you know, just self-reflection?
Well, I think number one, you have to be honest with yourself, and that can mean pain. That can mean like to be sad. You know, listen, if we want to make real change in ourselves and constantly try to work on ourselves and improve for the better and be positive energies, positive forces, not just for our own selves, but for others, which is really important, then, you know, we have to be able to sit back and like understand anything and everything that's happened that number one made us who we are today. You know, everything happened that, you know, everything happened in a certain way that led us to here right now. Whether we want to look at it like that or not, it's the truth. Everything starting from our birth to our childhood to our experiences, our traumas, anything that we've gone through, how we've handled it, you know, over the years. Because everything ends up creating like these, it's like a pebble being thrown into the water. It's like this kind of ripple effect, you know what I mean? Which is where the whole law of attraction comes into play, you know? And see, I brought it full circle.
Good job. You did good on that one. That was pretty slick.
I think that's from when I used to teach, because sometimes I'd go off on these things and then I'd be like, wait, but what am I teaching today? You know? Yeah.
But that shows your passion. But that's your passion for it coming out. And you know, when you're really passionate about something, you can't hide it, especially if that spark, you know, has been lit during a conversation, and you just go and people ask you, well, repeat that? And you're like, I don't even remember what I said, you know, because you're just so into it.
Right. What part?
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes that passion really comes out as a lot of energy. And I always sound like people sometimes might be like, I mean, you sound, they mistake it for emotion, like in the sense of, oh, you sound like you're really affected by this. No, but I'm passionate about what I'm saying. You know,
right.
It comes out with this energy.
I have the same problem. You know, a lot of people say, oh, Ivan, you look so serious. You look so mean. You know, especially when I'm giving talks, you know, like you need to lighten up a little bit. It's like, whoa, I'm having the most fun that you can imagine right now. I'm having a blast. My face is just an expression, but it's just an expression of passion and intensity because I believe in the message that strongly that, you know, but I'm having a blast, even if I look like this the whole time, you know.
I love that I'm passionate. I love that, you know. Yeah. I mean, passion is what keeps you staying the courses that you're supposed to be doing. Passion, you know. So yeah, and I think that like that's the thing too, is in order for reflection, you have to be able to understand your emotions a little bit, and the only way to do that is to let them come up, and then you kind of reflect on that, you know. So, you know, and I think you know, for example, if I'm trying to improve myself, and I'll say one thing that I wanted to work on this year especially was to be able to really, like, I would start to feel affected by somebody, to instead of feeling anger at them or whatever I was going through, you know, but then to feel maybe a certain type of love. Maybe it started with myself, which is the beginning, so that I'm not so affected by them. And then trying to come at them even still with respect, and because a lot of people, I think, we don't realize sometimes when we're being disrespectful to somebody, especially if we're used to something. We grow up with a certain communication or dynamics, and it becomes normal for us in a weird way. So, you know, to really understand that, yeah, nobody should be disrespecting people, but how can I handle it better? How can I do it better? Maybe I'm being disrespectful too, and I'm not aware, and at least let me try to work on that. So to understand where that comes from, and then to be honest about it, to then be honest, okay, I grew up with certain forms of communication that were not very healthy. Right. And no fault of theirs, because they grew up with that too. So that was the chain, effect throughout our lives. So, but to be honest with that stuff about the people, about the people in my life that I love and I care for, can create all sorts of emotions, can create sadness, can create pain. And then the next step is then being like, okay, well, let me practice forgiveness a little bit. Let me, it happened. We're not perfect. Maybe I can have a conversation about it at some point in my life with them, but let me move on. It's kind of like leveling, like you hear something and then you're going through it and then it's like, okay, and then the next thing comes, and the screen works perfectly for that,
It does.
Yeah. And then, I think that's the biggest thing is honesty, because if you can't be honest with everything because you're afraid of the emotions you're going to feel from it, right, then that's not really real reflection. And then you're not going to get the outcome you hope to get, and you have to go through it. You have to allow yourself to go through the process.
I heard somebody over the weekend and I'm actually working with the person, and they said, I deserve to be 100% happy. You deserve to be 100% happy. If somebody comes along and disturbs that 100%, well, that's not their fault. That's my fault because I allowed it, right? So therefore, I can, I'm not going to try to change you, but you can go over there and do whatever it is you got to do by yourself or over there, but stay out of my sphere. And that's something that I've been really trying to work on myself, So and I guess you kind of touched on it. What does it mean to you to speak your truth? Your truth.
That's a big one because I'm really big about that, and I really value that about people and myself, and sometimes it can be difficult because I think we do have a level of privacy that gets crossed nowadays, and everybody shares maybe too much, to be honest. There's a lot of times I see things I'm like, really, why? You don't need to share them.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. And I do believe that even with the openness that social medias and different things have created, that there should still be a level of privacy.
Right.
And also, for me, it can be difficult to show certain vulnerabilities in public because I've always been a performer and I've always had experiences where people have taken advantage of that. So I'm maybe a little more cautious about how much vulnerability I also allow out there, unless I really need the vibes. Like recently, if you remember, I needed the positive energy and the prayers from people, whoever. I just needed it because I was going through what felt like a very low moment and difficult moment in my life. And so I was vulnerable to a degree. I didn't share the details, but I was vulnerable enough where I just allowed myself, because I have a difficult time asking for help. I have a difficult time, it's not something easy for me. And again, that stems from all the way back when and different things in my life. But, I'm trying to be able to be more open about like when I need that type of stuff, So I think that, what was the question?
But no, you're actually kind of answering it. What does it mean to you to speak your truth?
Oh, to speak my truth, right.
Yeah.
So I think that at the same time, even when I have a little more barrier up for these things, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever it is that I'm presenting to the world, I want it to be my authentic self. Mm. There can be a lot of things that can influence us to totally go away from who we are and what we really believe in, and there are many things that can cause that, many reasons, but I think really speaking my truth is being able to say, doesn't matter what people or society are saying, this is what is important, or this is what is going to make you successful. It's about, what do I stand for? And what do I believe in? And what am I about? And how can I still reach the world, but still remain true to what I believe in and what I feel and what I'm about? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're going to wrap it up. But I want you to have the opportunity, to tell everybody again how they can find you and about your song.
Perfect. Also, real quick, because I just want to bring up the name of that other show. So in addition to the other radio shows, talk shows, you shows, your show, Mr. Ivan, Keep It Moving, the podcasts, the first one that came from Plead for Love being released. So I need to also acknowledge that. That's the thing. I haven't let me go make sure I get him in there, is Mr. Leroy Washington's show, Quest Nation. Same thing. It's an online podcast. And so, Plead for Love, you can hear so much about me. That's when I open up the most, or when I'm a guest on shows and I'm interviewing. That's when you can really, I'm not that kind of person to walk around with a camera talking all the time into it. Sometimes I wish I was. Listen, sometimes I'm like, I wish I'm one of those people, but I'm not. I've never been.
Right.
I try to do it here and there, but not, I'm small with that stuff. But when I do my interviews, that's when I really take the opportunity to be as authentic as I can and speak my truth. So people can learn about me as much as possible, and the music and what I have going on. But then again, my social medias, like Instagram is at Niki, NIKIRUBIN. Facebook and Twitter, I believe, is also, it's like Niki Rubin Music. And my SoundCloud is Niki Rubin. But Instagram, Facebook are the best ways to stay current and up to date. I am in the middle of creating my website, but it's public, but I'm not ready to promote it.
Yeah, been there. I understand that.
Listen, I'm doing as much as I can on my own. So there's like 500,000 things for one person to do, and I'm a mom, so I'm trying to balance it all. So I get to things when I can. I think that's a big thing too with what we were talking about. Our truth is like knowing when we need to move on other people's time, and knowing when it's okay to be on our own time, and trust that it's going to be done when it needs to be done, and it's going to be just amazing, That's the process. The process, yeah. And then Plead for Love, which is the release song that everybody can hear right now. I have more on the way, but some that are already, but that's the released one out there. So that's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, all different platforms. So wherever you are in the world, you can probably take a look and see. You might have Amazon, all different ones that have it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to all the stuff that's going on and the music that I have to share. And SoundCloud, you can hear samples of everything that I'm ready to let you hear. So
right. And I just want to wish you nothing but success. I know you're going to impact the world through your music, through your vibe, your charisma. I have no doubt about that. As we wrap up today's show, again, that's Niki Rubin. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook. Hey, if you like the show, make sure you subscribe. You can find me at ivanhunt.com. If you would like to be on the show, email me at keepitmoving@ivanhunt.com. In other words, this is us. Peace out, baby.